Hi, my friends. Today I want to present you a new story. Enjoy watching it. I grew up in a house where silence was heavier than words. My father, Stephen, was a man of sharp suits and sharper remarks, whose voice could reduce me to fragments in an instant. My mother, Louise, floated between us like a shadow, never defending me, never confronting him, only muttering, "Don't take it personally, Chester. That's just how he is." By the time my older brother and sister escaped the house, I was left alone with him. Every dinner became an interrogation. "Why a B plus?" He would sneer, glaring at my report card. "Your cousin manages stray days while holding 2 jobs." I learned quickly that achievements bought me no peace. Even graduating with honors in marketing from Marshall University did not impress him. My father only leaned back in his chair and muttered, "Honors mean nothing if you don't become somebody." Ironically, I had already become somebody. By 27, I was a well-paid marketing advisor with clients who trusted my ideas. But at home, I remained a disappointment, the boy who would never measure up. Perhaps that is why I kept my secret. For 4 years, I shouldered the weight of my parents' mortgage, $1,970 every month. The bank drafted it directly from my account, unnoticed by them. I told myself I was protecting them, protecting our family name, sparing my mother from Stefan's volcanic temper if the bank ever came knocking. But the truth, I was buying scraps of approval that never came. One evening, as I returned from the office, my mother's voice trembled over the phone. "Chester," she whispered, "the bank sent a notice about the mortgage. They said a payment was missed, but I don't understand. Your father said that we paid off the entire mortgage. What's more, the bank wrote off part of the debt. He said that he had already paid off the entire loan 6 months ago." My hand tightened around the steering wheel. I had been paying. I never missed. The thought sent a chill through me. I called the bank and found out that there had been an error in the bank system and that I did not owe any money. The bank employee apologized to me. When I reached the house, I saw the notice crumpled on the kitchen counter. My mother stood pale beside it. "Why would they send this?" she asked. Before I could answer, Stefan stormed in. His glare swept over me like a blade. You're behind this, aren't you? You're always trying to prove something to us." I stared at him, a bitter taste rising in my throat. He didn't know the truth. Not yet. I turned around and left. And that secret, I realized, would soon become the weapon that shattered everything. A few days later, Mom organized a family dinner. The night of the dinner was meant to be celebratory. At least, that's what my mother claimed. She had polished the silver, laid out her best linen, and placed a vase of roses in the center of the table, as if flowers could soften the edges of my father's temper. I arrived on time, wearing the dark suit that once made investors lean in during meetings. But here, under my father's roof, I was not a professional. I was still the boy under his scrutiny. The first half hour passed in strained politeness. My sister, Clara, boasted about her recent vacation, while my brother Martin described his new car. My father listened, nodding approvingly, his glass of red wine in hand. Then his eyes landed on me. "And you, Chester," he said, voice smooth but dangerous. "Still wasting your degree on. What is it you do?" "Marketing tricks. Convincing people to buy things they don't need." The table fell silent. My fork froze halfway to my mouth. "I advise companies on brand strategies," I said evenly. "It pays the bills." His laugh was sharp. "Whose bills, exactly? Yours or someone else's?" My mother shifted uncomfortably, but remained silent. Clara smirked, enjoying the performance. I set my fork down. For 4 years, I've been paying this family's mortgage, nearly $2,000 every month. Without me, this house would already belong to the bank. The words dropped like stones into the room. Martin's glass clinked against the table. "That's impossible." "Dad, you said you had already paid off the mortgage yourself." But my father's face reddened with fury. "Lies. You dare stand here and insult me in front of my own children?" I leaned forward. "Check the bank records. You'll see the truth." "Get out of my house. I don't want to see you here anymore," my father yelled at me. The air grew heavy, no one breathing. My mother's lips parted, but no words came. My father's knuckles whitened around his glass as though he could crush it. I realized then, the dinner meant to celebrate family unity had become the night that would rip it apart. For weeks after the dinner, silence pressed down like a suffocating fog. I moved into a small rented apartment. My father didn't even want to hear about me. My mother avoided even talking to me on the phone, and my siblings pretended nothing had been said. I thought perhaps the storm had passed. I was wrong. It began with a phone call late one evening. Clara's voice, sharp as glass, broke through the receiver. "You humiliated father. Do you feel proud of yourself?" I only told the truth, I replied, though a knot tightened in my stomach. Her laugh was cruel. "Truth? You think facts matter when you've wounded his pride? You'll regret this." The words clung to me, an omen I couldn't shake. 2 days later, Clara appeared unannounced at my apartment. She walked in without waiting for an invitation, heels clicking against the floor like a judge's gavel. She carried herself with the smug assurance of someone holding a weapon unseen. "You think you've exposed something," she said, eyes glittering. "But I can bury you just as quickly." I folded my arms. "What are you talking about?" She stepped closer, lowering her voice. "Do you remember the diamond ring Mother lost last year? The one she accused the maid of stealing? I've told them it was you. That's why you're so desperate to cover yourself with these financial stories." Her lie struck with the precision of a knife. For a moment, I couldn't breathe. "You framed me, your own brother?" I asked quietly. Clara smiled, cold and victorious. "Family is leverage, not loyalty. You should have learned that by now." As she left, the door clicked shut with the finality of a prison cell. I stood in the echo of her accusation, realizing my fight had only just begun. The dinner had opened wounds, but Clara's return promised war. The accusation Clara planted spread like a stain. For the first time, I realized that survival would demand not retreat, but transformation. I began documenting everything, every transfer I had made to cover their debts, every bill I had paid when no one else could. Late nights were spent at my desk, receipts and bank statements spread like a battlefield map. Proof of my sacrifices, proof they wanted to erase. One evening, my father met me on the street after work. His brows were furrowed, his tone rigid. "Your sister claims you took the ring. Do you deny it?" "I deny it," I answered firmly, holding his gaze. "And I can prove where my money has gone. Can't you say the same?" He hesitated, the first crack in his certainty, but then hardened. "Evidence means little when trust is broken." My voice rose. "Trust? I gave up years of my life paying for this family's comfort, and this is my reward, lies and exile." For a flicker of a moment, pain shadowed his eyes, but pride quickly replaced it. He turned away without a word and quickly walked away from me. That night, I resolved to act. If my family insisted on casting me as a thief, then I would strip away their illusions. No more silent endurance. I contacted an old colleague in finance, Daniel, who had once admired my diligence. "Daniel," I said over the phone, "I may need help. Legal help. Something is being twisted against me." His reply was calm, steady. "Then we'll untwist it. You're not alone in this." The call ended, but his words lit a spark within me. For the first time in weeks, I felt the weight shift. Clara thought she had cornered me with her lies, but I was learning to fight back, with truth, with proof, and with allies. The struggle for change had begun, and I would not falter. The day of reckoning arrived quietly, almost unremarkably. Yet beneath the calm, everything was about to shatter. Armed with statements, receipts, and Daniel's guidance, I confronted my parents in their living room. Clara was already there, smug as if victory belonged to her. I laid the documents neatly on the table. "Here's every cent I've spent on this family, tuition fees, mortgage payments, medical bills, all in my name. And here," I slid forward another folder, proof that Clara pawned the stolen ring 2 weeks ago. Clara paled, her mouth opening then closing without sound. My father's face drained of color, my mother's eyes flickering with disbelief. "You see," I said steadily, "truth does not vanish simply because you choose to ignore it." Clara lunged forward. "You can't. This doesn't mean." "It means," I cut in, "that your lies are finished, and so is my silence." For the first time in years, I felt my chest expand freely. The burden slid away, leaving only clarity. I gathered my papers, turned to the door, and added, "From now on, I live for myself, not for those who never value me." Behind me, their voices collided in confusion and regret. But I did not turn back. Liberation was not found in their acceptance. It was found in my leaving. Friends, what do you think of this story? Write your opinion in the comments. Would you like more stories? Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button so you don't miss any videos. See you tomorrow.